Welcome back, everyone. It's here. And today I've got some r/BestOf for you all. As per usual, I'll be reading you the posts, giving you my opinions, and I hope you do the same down in the comments below. And without further ado, let's jump right into it. This post is collected by Drek Caterpillar 77, and their tagline is, "Satan is not a pogo stick." The original OP is "Don't Care, Throw Away," posted to r/relationships July 13th, 2015. My 23 female boyfriend, 23 male, of 1 year is bad at everything, and it's making me lose respect for him. Okay, so I'm going crazy in my head here because I don't know if I'm just the world's hugest bitch or what. Basically, my boyfriend, let's call him Steve, is just not good at doing anything. Wait, that's not true. He's good at outdoorsy stuff and is apparently pretty good at his job in catering. Aside from that, I don't fucking know. For example, I feel like I can't do anything with him that involves any skill or is even slightly competitive because 1, he's a sore loser, and 2, he never wins. When I stayed with his family over Christmas, they had a Scrabble board, and because it was snowy and boring, of course I tried to pass the time playing Scrabble with him, and I'm not even a good Scrabble player, and I still crushed him every game. And eventually, after a few, I just couldn't play anymore because I had to spend like 10 minutes after every game making him feel better about himself. After giving up on Scrabble, we switched to playing Sorry. We had to stop that too because I couldn't handle the mental toll of continuously beating him at Sorry. Another time, we went to a board game night with some friends, and he couldn't understand the rules for most of the board games, and afterwards, vented to me about how stupid the games were and why there was no point having rules so complicated no one could grasp them. He was the only one who couldn't grasp them. Other times, we'd play casual stuff like air hockey or foosball, which I didn't think even required any strategy other than spinning the little plastic dudes really fast. And he'd still lose every time and get upset about it. I don't care about winning, I just want to have fun, and it feels like it's impossible to have fun because playing anything with him feels like playing against a goddamn 5-year-old. Oh, but wait. This thread isn't entitled, "My boyfriend is terrible at games," so here's some other stuff. His internet stopped working a while back, so he called me and I told him to use his mobile data to download the troubleshooting manual for his router and see if he could fix it. He didn't manage, so I went to his place later and found he downloaded the manual for the wrong router. It wasn't even for the right brand. I ended up fixing his problem, and then he ranted to me about how all these router manufacturers make their manuals so hard to use. Like there's some sort of deliberate conspiracy to keep everyone in perpetual confusion unless they're a genius. I'm not a genius. I'm just capable of following simple written instructions. Also, he wants to go back to school to do a master's degree, but he needs to do some prereqs, including a math unit where he's struggling with a lot of the material. But as far as I can tell, it's all stuff he learned in high school. Lately, he's been posting Facebook updates about how hard it is to learn logarithms. My school covered logarithms in grade 9, and even though I can't remember how to do them off the top of my head, I don't recall them being particularly hard at the time. And aside from that, I'm getting tired of being expected to be sympathetic when increasingly I just want to yell, "Well, maybe if you weren't such a dumbass." But if I even hint that maybe he should be able to deal with his own emotions, e.g., "Honey, I know you couldn't get the pizza dough the shape you wanted, but it's not a huge deal in the grand scheme of things, right?" I get accused of being unsympathetic to his feelings. Well, what about my feelings? That I don't want a constant rolling coverage of every tiny thing that bothers you. But he's also an incredibly sweet, hardworking person who treats me well, and his boss and coworkers all say he doesn't just work hard, but is actually really competent at his job, and he did pretty well in high school, and he's lived on his own since he was 16 and kept himself alive the whole time, and no one else has ever said or hinted to me, "Gee, your boyfriend's kind of a dumbass." So what the fuck? Is it me? Am I the crazy one? Am I the bitch? Too long didn't read. Boyfriend struggles with board game instructions, technology, high school level math. I struggle with mounting resentment. Can this be worked out? What does it even mean to have such ugly thoughts about your significant other? Update. September 6th, 2015. 2 months later. Ally, save you some scrolling. We broke up. This is pretty long and rambling and probably not even relevant, but typing it out helps me sort it out in my head, so you might as well all come along for the ride. Some more background. My ex graduated with a degree in biomedicine last year, but never actually looked for work in his field, as far as I know. This didn't strike me as a problem at first, since he's always taken care of himself just fine, and he never seemed that enthusiastic about his degree anyway. I spent several years after high school working odd jobs while I figured out what I wanted to do with my life. Most of the way through nursing school now. So, who am I to judge, right? But gradually, I just got more and more of a sinking feeling about things. Mostly because he kept talking about how he wanted to get a PhD and become a professor. And I felt professorship was a pretty optimistic goal for even the most brilliant of students. But how do you tell your boyfriend you think their dreams are wildly unrealistic? So, he decided he was going back for his master's. Cool. After I posted the original thread, I realized I'd never really spoken to him about his negativity while we were both calm. So, I sat him down one day and told him that while I was always going to be there for him in times of real distress, I couldn't take all this complaining anymore. About his coworkers, about my housemates, about his housemates, about losing at games, about the train system, about math, about art majors. Apparently they all work at Starbucks. One time I pointed out the irony of this, he went real quiet and later told me I really hurt his feelings and to not strike such low blows in the future. I guess I missed a hell of a red flag. I told him it was exhausting to constantly have to attend to one crisis or the other, and that perhaps he could benefit from seeing a therapist. In addition to everything else, he's also had depression on and off, and I figured it was a good chance to learn better coping skills. Well, that didn't go over well at all. He immediately accused me of not caring about his feelings and that he should be able to say whatever he wanted to me, and psychologists just want to give you happy pills to make you think like everyone else. When I told him psychologists aren't licensed to prescribe medication, he went silent for a while and said, "It doesn't matter. They still just want to convince you it's fine to be a loser and everything's okay with you." I asked him if he thought he was a loser, and he said he doesn't think he's a loser. He just thinks it's important to stay aware of your flaws and punish yourself when you mess up, which is why he runs so much. What? At this point, I end the conversation because I don't know what the fuck to say. The other thing that had been bothering me progressively more is that he's currently taking units so he can start his master's next semester. But it struck me as kind of weird that he had to take math and science prereqs considering he already has a degree in biomedicine. I'm pretty sure he graduated. He has a photo of himself in his gown on Facebook. But every time I tried to ask, he'd hand wave it away like he was hiding something. Of all the problems in our relationship, this was the only one that made me feel like I might be nuts because, for all I know, there was a perfectly simple explanation, but why the evasiveness? Anyway, reading back everything I wrote feels super weird because there's a lot of crazy shit and it's like, well, sure that happened, but it wasn't like that. But maybe it was. After my failed attempt at talking, I felt like a giant dumbass for not realizing the relationship was doomed from the start. But I was dreading actually breaking up with him. Until the boat ride. So in my town, there's a few places you can hire a little sailboat for an hour and sail around on the water in the summer. Fun couples activity, right? Before the horrible talk, we'd made the plans to do this, and he didn't know I was going to break up with him, and I was still clinging to the hope of fixing our relationship, so we went sailing. All went well for about 10 minutes until we had to turn the boat, and of course, turning a sailboat can be tricky if you've never done it before. As we're trying and failing to turn the boat, I can see him getting more and more agitated, and I try to lighten the mood by joking about our struggles. And he replies with something like, "Oh, sure, it's fine to be shitty at things. Who needs standards?" And I should have known not to expect to be good at sailing. I tell him there's no reason he needs to be good at something we're just doing for fun, and to just try to enjoy the activity. Something that I'm sick of saying, and he's evidently sick of hearing, because it sets him off on one of his rants about how we can't do anything right, and people who don't care how well they do are dumbasses. Everyone is a dumbass. I just want him to be happy with being a dumbass. The boat is stupid. Sailboats are stupid. Our town is unreasonably windy, etc. After that, he's too upset to talk and snaps at me every time I ask him to hold a rope or whatever. All because he had trouble turning a fucking hire boat. So I turned to him, yelled, "You're dumped!" Jumped into the water and swam back to shore. Just kidding. I only did that in my imagination. I broke up with him a couple days later. Too long didn't read, there is something wrong with me and I need to seriously analyze my partner choices. Well, with this being more than a decade ago, I can really only hope that with time, Buddy found himself some therapy because damn does he need it. The message of thinking that it's important to stay aware of your flaws and punish yourself when you mess up, that's not healthy. I wouldn't be surprised with it turning out that he lived on his own since he was 16, that he's got a lot of baggage that he just refuses to open up and is carrying a lot of just really detrimental things to his psyche. Part of me wonders how much of this was actually him just being genuinely really bad at everything, and how much of it was actually him just not even bothering to try because he's already walking into it with the expectation that he'll fail, so may as well just fail anyway, or not even try to confirm to him that he's not good at something. Basically, he'll never have to confirm to himself if he is actually bad at something. If he never actually tries, he'll be able to constantly have the note in his head of, well, yeah, but I wasn't actually trying then, so I don't know for a fact if I'm bad at Scrabble, or if I'm bad at this board game, or bad at sorry. And we also got a bit of a taste of that during the whole sailboat incident. Also, if he's posting on Facebook about struggling with logarithms, I don't believe he graduated with a degree in biomedicine, if I'm gonna be 100% honest with you. This post was collected by Direct Caterpillar 77, and their tagline is, "Satan is not a pogo stick." The original OP is Dramally, posted to r/relationships October 7th, 2015. Bit of a content warning for obsessive behavior. My birth sister, 27 female, tracked me down and wants to be a part of my, 26 females, life. I don't want her at my wedding or in my life. At all. Here's the issue. I was adopted as a baby. I have no clue what happened to anyone in that family, as I have never had a desire to look into my past. My parents were very open about what happened, abuse and neglect. Mom, 59 female, and Dad, 63 male, are wonderful and giving people. I have a sister, Elizabeth, who is my twin. We aren't related by blood, but are the same age. We are both adopted, so we had that to bond over. I met the love of my life, Jake, 30 male, and we have been together for 4 years. We're getting married in December. I've already planned out the guest list, no kids will be there, and I'm super excited. I have never really had the urge to look for my bio siblings. I guess at this point, I wouldn't really be their true sibling emotionally because we've lived different lives. Since I have medical records and grew up without them, I never felt the need to meet them. But my, 27 female, bio sister Janice tracked me down about a month ago. She wrote me on Facebook in July, but I didn't check my other folder until September. It was a really long letter that talked about who she was, how she tracked me down, and said she was looking for the rest of the siblings. She said she really wanted to connect with the rest of us because she needed to find her past. I didn't know what to think, but her story added up. She had some pictures, and since I was a pretty ugly baby, it's obviously us together as toddlers. She also knew some details. She could be a fake, but I didn't think it was. I showed Mom and Dad. They said it checked out. We've been talking for a few weeks now. She's called me twice a week, texting me every day. She's nice, but I have been losing interest. She's just some stranger to me. Emotionally, I find it very hard to recognize this is someone I should care about. On some deep level, shouldn't I feel like we're super close sisters? I don't get the same excitement talking to her that I do with Elizabeth. She has 2 kids, who she talks about a lot. She tells me she showed them my picture and they've been showing people Auntie Emily. She's also told me she took off time in December for the wedding. She just might need to stay with me because she's low on cash. Oh, I know this makes me sound nasty and ungrateful. She's super into meeting me, said I'm the most normal sibling, and she's so excited to have someone to share her life with. She sounds really lonely. I know she's built this up in her head as being the best thing to happen to her in forever. But she isn't someone I would have in my life if she didn't have some connection to my past. Every time we talk, she goes on, and I'm just counting down the minutes. I've tried to work out a way to be there for her, but I can't bring myself to truly care. I don't wish her ill, but she is just another stranger to me. She isn't family emotionally. I know I could try to form the bond, but at this point, I don't see the point. At 26, I've pretty much established the sort of people I want in my life. She just has views I find strange, is rude in ways I find annoying, and despite having biological nieces, I just don't feel they're anything but someone else's kid. Does this make me a bad person? Am I horrid? I feel guilty as hell because I can tell she wants this so bad. Even then, even if we did become friends, she would never be my sister because being a sister means a lot more than genetics to me. I'm not sure how to tell her, hey, I don't want to talk anymore. I have talked with my significant other, and he says if I want her out of my life, then I just need to handle it. He doesn't really like her that much. They have talked, but he says she puts a lot of pressure on me to be close to her when this stuff doesn't always even work. Too long didn't read, biological sister tracked me down and wants to be a part of my life, including coming to my wedding. I don't really feel any connection. I don't like her as a person much. I just feel guilty cutting her off, but the thought of another 2-hour weekly chat with her makes me break out in mental hives. Relevant comments. Plastic Venus comments. Quote, Janice, I've enjoyed getting to know you, but I just don't feel the emotional and familial bond that you seem to. Whilst I appreciate your need to get to know your family, I feel like I already have a family, and pretending otherwise is deceptive and unfair to you. I know this is difficult for you, but to be quite honest, I'm not ready at this stage of my life to have the kind of relationship with you that you're seeking. But I wish you well in your future. End quote. No, you're not an awful person. Often family has nothing to do with DNA. Opie responds, thank you. That is a good message. I just feel bad because I should want to get to know her according to everyone in the world. But realistically, she just isn't someone I see adding value to my life. User if I had a moog comments. Not according to everyone in the world. In fact, there is a famous psychological concept, the tyranny of the should. It's about trying to live up to the unreasonable expectations. Check it out. Comment from Beagle Mama. She's a stranger to you that just happens to share a bunch of DNA. You don't have to be instant super best friends with her. And she's coming across as so clingy, I'd be creeped out if I were you. OP responds, majorly creeped out. I think the Auntie Emily thing was the first in a long line of creepiness. She's showing kids I don't know my picture and making up fantasies about who I am. It's weird. User Spring-Heeled Jill comments, wait. Did she invite herself to your wedding? Huh? OP responds, yeah, she did invite herself and her 2 kids to my wedding and to stay with me while I have everything else going on. I'm not sure what she thought was going to happen. I was going to be jolly about someone being in my home with kids while I was getting ready for my wedding and honeymoon? Update, October 11th, 2015, 4 days later. In the last few days, I have done a lot of thinking. The short of the long, I have decided not to have her in my life anymore. What happened? Janice called me last night. I tried to be polite, but she went into a big long rave about all the plans she had for when she visited me. She brought up the wedding. 1. Would there be time to see? Long list of local places together. 2. Did she have a +1? 3. What were the dinner options? 4. She already bought the girls' dresses in blue with baskets so they could be flower girls with the rest of the children. 5. She wanted to see her date and who would watch the girls while we were eating dinner. 6. She was looking forward to meeting our family members in December. 7. She needed to know what day she should arrive. 8. She would need to stay with me because she spent all her extra cash on your wedding. This is a nightmare scenario for me, is this exact kind of situation. It is making my skin and spine crawl right now. Ugh. I was pretty shocked because she had done all this without even confirming she was invited. I'm not sure what made me ask, but I asked her if she really was in contact with the rest of the siblings. She told me some very concerning things. 1. She had been in contact with 2 of them, a sister and a brother. She said they tried to talk to her, but then cut off contact. They were actually doing really well, even though they were in foster care until they aged out. They had their own kids, were married, and had decent jobs. 2. They had refused to introduce her to their kids and got mad she wanted to know more details about their lives with our parents. 3. The rest of the siblings turned down contact with her the moment she wrote them. 4. She said I was the longest communication she had with someone in a long time. She just wanted to meet me so badly, she had spent more money than she had to look nice. 5. She wanted me to help her and for her girls to finally have a good family. I just told her the truth. 1. You have been coming on too quickly. I'm a bit concerned because you're trying to invite yourself to my wedding. 2. We have never met. We are pretty much strangers. I do not feel comfortable having you come stay in my home before, after, or during the wedding. 3. I have a sister and parents. I was raised with them. 4. I do not view any of the siblings as actual family members. 5. I am not their aunt in anything but genetics and do not intend to recognize them as my nieces. If I have nibblings, they will be when Elizabeth has children. 6. I would like to cut contact. 7. I am sorry you have been hurt, but I do not have the energy to help you overcome these issues. 8. I do not want to talk about people I don't know, abuse I don't remember, or be part of any reunion stories. 9. I would prefer to focus on my own family. Janice told me she didn't have anyone else. I was the last member of her family. I reminded her that her children were her family and she should focus on making friendships. I hung up on her. She has tried calling back multiple times. I blocked her on everything I could think of. I'm going to have my personal number changed in the next few days. I feel relieved this is done with. Too long didn't read, spoke with my sister about not coming to the wedding, and no more contact. She didn't take it well. I blocked her. I feel relieved. Final comments. Plastic Venus. You did the right thing. For both of you. The fact that her other siblings cut off contact shows that this lack of boundaries is a broader problem and eventually would have dragged you down. While it's sad that she's in this position, she's not your responsibility and in fact is leaning dangerously close to being a liability. Hopefully she backs off and leaves you alone. OP responds, I do as well. Jake, my significant other, doesn't think she will. We have security ready for her showing up. My family is aware of everything and have blocked her as well. User Cuddle Apocalypse comments, man, I can't help but feel sorry for her. I mean, nobody knows what she might have been through. For all anybody knows, she could have grown up being constantly abused in many ways. Hell, she could be going through that now and is just desperately looking for some semblance of something normal or something to make her happy. I don't blame you for quickly cutting her off, though. Everybody wants their own thing, to only be concerned with their own life, with nobody around that could possibly bother their happiness or shake things up. And like a lot of people have said, she could just be an evil person only looking to leech off of anyone she can get her claws into. You never really know, I guess. I just hope that if any of that is the case, she finds something in life that will give her what she needs. OP responds, I feel for her in some ways, but I'm not willing to be someone's savior, or more specifically, her savior. JJ3570 comments, you did what was best for yourself, your family, and your future. Good on you for having the guts to stand up for yourself. OP responds, I feel terrible because she sounds really down and out, but if your whole birth family drops contact, that is weird. Someone in that number had to want some family connection, but then they all just cut her out? I wonder what she wrote them. I know the older siblings remember more of what happened. I would be horrified if someone popped up looking for painful answers this far into adulthood. Thank God we got a fun palate cleanser after this. This is actually just a nightmare scenario for me, overall. Like, this whole situation of being put in the uncomfortable position of having to put someone down so raw. Like, this is just an old Yeller situation, and it sucks. Because OP 100% made the right decision here. Janice was definitely jumping the gun and crossing boundaries, and they probably need a lot of help beyond just reaching out to old family members. Especially if there's a lot of lingering trauma attached to it, which it sounds like there is. User Definitely Not Aliens, I think, puts this perfectly. This lady lost a lot and is drowning. You know what happens when untrained rescuers go after drowning swimmers? The drowning person clings to them, and in their panic to get help, tries to cling to the person in a blind panic and starts to drag the other person under. If they just relaxed for a split second and let the person rescue them, they would be fine. They don't. They flail and cling and panic and pull the other person under. You need to be trained to safely rescue a drowning person. OP isn't trained in rescue techniques or therapy. She was about to be dragged under. The bio sister is clearly traumatized and trying to find anyone to cling to. That doesn't mean it's OP's job to help. You can feel bad for someone and simultaneously recognize they will drag you under as well. And also, just in case it wasn't 100% clear, the reason why for me this is a nightmare scenario is because I'm really bad at confrontation, and having someone be this excited and knowing that I'm going to have to put them down, that's a lot of stress, and it's stressing me out right now just thinking about being in OP's position. Like, ugh, goddamn. Where the hell is that palate cleanser at? Unfortunately, I'm actually recording this one last, and I've already recorded the palate cleanser, so I'm actually just gonna be going to bed like this, which is a fucking nightmare. So, yeah. This post was picked by Andre, and their tagline is, "Go ahead, but a moose." The original OP is Aimless Drifting 2, posted in r/dating. Originally posted November 3rd, 2021. Giving a small gift for a guy's dog on the second date? ? I'm 25 female, going on my second date with a guy, 27 male, on Saturday night this week. Our first date was a success, and we immediately made plans to get together here this weekend. During our first date, he was telling me about the German Shepherd puppy he just got. I thought it was super cute how animated he got when he told me about the puppy, so today, at the store, I happened to see some chew toys for sale and I picked one up. What would you think of someone bringing something like this to your second date? Is it a little weird to bring a dog toy on a date? I was thinking of putting it in a little gift bag, so he's not carrying rubber bone around with him. For what it's worth, I've known this guy for a while before we went on a date. Relevant and top comments. Commenter 1. That seems reasonable to me. Doesn't necessarily have to go in a gift bag, but maybe just a plastic bag? Opie responds, yeah, but I found a little gift bag at the dollar store with the German Shepherd from Paw Patrol on it. I thought that would be funny. Commenter 2. Have you met the dog? I would probably hold off until you meet the puppy. OP responds, no, I haven't met him, but who doesn't love a puppy? Commenter 3. Wait, is commenter 2 asking if you should make sure you like the puppy or if the puppy likes you? Why is the dog's input important here? Commenter 3. I think that's a nice gesture and shows you're taking him seriously. I had a girl wake me up early after she got off work and told me to come outside. She brought me a slice of cake and a flower. It felt nice. Update 1, November 7th, 2021. 4 days later. Hi everyone, I posted this earlier this week. I brought my little gift for Jake's dog and he loved it. Like, he was seriously moved that I brought this little chew toy for his puppy. All during dinner, he kept telling me how nice it was that I did that. After dinner ended, we went to this place to do axe throwing, which was a blast, by the way. He asked if I'd like to meet his puppy sometime. I said, why not tonight? So we went back to his house and I met his dog, and he's the cutest little German Shepherd baby you've ever seen. Me and Jake ended up in his backyard and he made us a fire and we cuddled on his patio. I'd say I ended up staying a lot later than we originally planned for me to. Relevant and top comments. Commenter 1. As a dog owner, that would be an easy way to score tons of points with me. Great idea and glad it went well. Commenter 2. Aw, I'm glad it worked out for you, and that he was happy. Did you give the puppy many good snuggles and pats? I hope things work out well for you two. LP responds, oh god, yes, I cuddled that little guy. He's adorable. He's all giant floppy ears and huge paws. Update 2, November 18th, 2021. 2 weeks later. OP commenting on another post. This is so awesome. I'm so happy for you. By the way, my new boyfriend also has a cute dog who I'm growing just as attached to. Sadly, there is no pet tax, which is an absolute shame, and I do believe it is in order for OP to be crucified for their crimes against humanity. In case it's not obvious, that is sarcasm. I definitely am in the boat upon further consideration, though, that OP definitely should have consulted with the puppy before getting him the toy. I mean, seriously. Did you even check his Christmas list? Hey, welcome to the outro. Don't forget this whole thing is basically brought to you by GamerSupps. If you like caffeine, then I can't recommend GamerSupps enough. Use code Oz at checkout to support the channel. And I do actually use this product. It's replaced all other sources of caffeine for me because I feel good. It doesn't have any of that extra stuff that a pre-workout blend might have. It's with a couple of the extra things to make it so you don't crash as hard. It's good. I like it. Personally, if you really want a good flavor, try the Soda Pressing Pear or even the Dragon Fruit Punch. Those two are my personal favorites right now.